She's so fine. On the real though, shit you don't know. Dang, those pretty brown eyes, straight in the bars. Can't nobody else flex the way you do. And now I'm up to bat. Can I hit it? So fine, you gotta leave the lights on, 'cause I got to keep you in your black silk thong. And it's so that this slow champagne, and we can get our freak on. 'Cause I'm on a quest to make you mine, and I just can't stop swinging, 'cause you're so fine, and I gotta do it, got to go through it. Hey, you're so fine.
Hey guys, I'm not gonna be here long. Um, I was just listening to Jason Black, and I started listening to Tariq, and it's really just disgusting, man. It's disgusting because this is the thing, man. For those of you that don't know, Trump introduced a platinum plan for the next 4 years for Black people. Has some bullet points on it. Now, that being said, hey, what's going on? That being said, I'm not 100% like, okay, Trump is the perfect president. He's this, he's that. I think he's the best president I've seen in my lifetime. But that being said, I'm not gonna just try to say this, um, and just not explain why. So Trump has basically the biggest point that everybody's talking about is he's saying he's going to increase access to capital in Black communities by almost $500 billion. Now, this is the problem I have with a lot of these cats. I'm for reparations, just like anybody with some sense, right? Now, how do you get to the point where you have reparations? What steps do Black people need to take? What are the specific plans that Black people are going to take to obtain reparations? Because if these guys really want the shit they talking about, the $20 trillion that they're saying they want for reparations, which hey, I'm cool with that. If they're saying they want that, then there's a method to the madness. Give, you don't just get reparations just because. So here you have a Republican who, let's be honest, the Republican in the last, you know, 60, 70 years has completely ignored the Black community. They've not promised anything to the Black community, right? Trump gets in, and I said this when he first got in. I said Trump is crazy enough to do some stuff for Black people, not because I'm a big Republican, not because but I just know that if you study the art of war, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Okay, Donald Trump, and I'm about to go through the bullet points, but I just think that half the stuff that these people are saying is just really ill-advised and irresponsible. Now I wouldn't dare call Jason Black because he got people up there, they'll call and make viable points. But man, look, I mean, it's good if he's bringing in $500 billion to the Black community. Damn, isn't that good? And he says he's trying to ask people how to spell sociologically and shit like that. And I'm like, brother, asking someone to spell sociologically has nothing to do with whether or not we can benefit from $500 billion coming into the Black community. And, like the Bible says, if they're not against us, they're for us. That's what Jesus told the disciples, right? So at the end of the day, man, I have a problem with people out here specifically railing against someone extending something. Now, they're saying we shouldn't vote for Donald Trump and you're a coon. That's basically what he's doing. Now, this is the thing. I don't think Jason Black has fully spit out his willingness chip. I know that's blasphemous to say, but I don't think he has. And the reason I'll say that is because I hear him saying things like, if Hispanics vote for Trump, then there's no black brown coalition. In other words, anybody that votes conservatively is anti-black. That's the message I took from. That's the deductive reasoning that I took. Now he'll sit and say stuff about the Democrats. I give him that. He does. He makes a lot of videos about the Democrats. But the problem is you're saying they're not coming to the table with tangibles. This man says, I'm going to bring $500 billion into the black community. It's not enough. There needs to be $20 trillion. Let me explain something to these dudes, man. This is the problem I have with these dudes. You're coming with these unrealistic expectations that will never happen. Ever. Okay? Nobody's ever gonna come and give the black community 20 fucking trillion dollars unless inflation is ridiculous and $1 trillion is like $100,000. Then they'll give you $20 trillion for reparations. But the shit that's going on right now is just outright. It's almost like these dudes are agents of chaos. It's almost like they're agitators. Like they just want to make sure that you angry about every fucking thing. And you don't really think about, okay, if I'm getting tangibles, then it's a good thing. I sat there and listened to this dude rail against anybody that said, you're a coon. And I'm looking at the comments. We are, look, man. And I said this about Sean. Sean, my homeboy was on the channel the other day. Black folks is in a bad position. They just are. There's no way in hell you can sit up here and tell me that, hey, what's going on? But there's just no way in hell you can sit up here and tell me. I'm gonna read the bullet points. He says 3 million jobs for the black community. Okay. Creating 500,000 new black-owned businesses. 500,000 black-owned businesses. That's a good idea. All right. Creating businesses, which means you're gonna probably need some money. He says increase access to capital in black communities by almost 500 billion. Safe urban neighborhoods with the highest policing standards, which is exactly what black people are asking for. Safe neighborhoods, high police standards, which means police don't be on no bullshit, right? Commit to working on a second step act. I guess prison reform. You got to throw that shit in there, right? Access to better education and job training for opportunity. Now, these are broad things, I'll admit. This is broad. We're going to go into the other sheet in a second. Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their community. Okay. Bring better tailored health care to address historic disparities. Okay. Immigration policies that protect American jobs. Now, that's a big one. Because these Hispanics is running our ass out of here. They really messing us up. And so that's a big one. People, I think they are our competition. I don't have no problem with it per se, but sometimes I do. You know what I'm saying? Advanced home ownership opportunities, which will directly affect the bottom line of net worth of black people if you have increased home ownership. The more equity you have in a property, higher your net worth. The net worth disparity will shrink, right? It says advanced home ownership opportunities in, what does it say? And enhance financial literacy in the black community. This is the same shit that everybody been saying. If somebody came out and said, this is this is our list of demands, I don't think too many people have a problem with this shit. Onshoring manufacturing to advance jobs and develop opportunities for black-owned businesses. Basically bring manufacturing jobs back to the States. We're the most unskilled labor segment of this country, right? Facts. So if you're the most unskilled labor, manufacturing coming back to the United States would actually serve to benefit black people the most proportionally. This ain't got nothing to do with, I don't know, man. This shit, I really I think honestly, this brother makes a mess. These brothers are making a mess in the black community. They just are. Let me go to the other one. So I'm finna go to the other piece of it so everybody can see what's going on. I'm finna download this piece and I'm gonna open it so that we can see specifics as to what he's saying. Okay, so I'm gonna open this piece up. All right, let me share my screen. We're gonna go through it. All right. So I said, okay, hold on. Go about that. All right. So can I scroll up? Oh, there we go. Black economic empowerment and access to capital. Jobs. Reach even greater levels of historic employment and wage growth for the black community set in 2019 so that anyone looking for a job gets one. Seek infrastructure funding. Don't we talk about that shit? Infrastructure. Like, listen, if somebody coming and saying they're going to give you something, you're not going to get reparations, okay? Not right now. So the shit that these niggas are saying on the internet tonight is fucked up. And I'm going to tell you why it's fucked up. Because anytime somebody comes to try to give you any fucking thing, if it ain't 20 fucking trillion dollars, which is unrealistic bullshit that you and I we all know is not gonna happen. Okay, they're not gonna give black people reparations yet. If we're gonna get reparations, this shit gotta happen first. You gotta have economic infrastructure. You need jobs. You need 500,000 more businesses. You need, and out of those 500,000, if 1% of those businesses are major businesses, you talking about another 500 businesses that may employ thousands of people. That'll actually increase our bottom line. We can start doing some things politically or moving things in a certain direction. But you can't put the cart before the horse. It's like these motherfuckers want people to just, you ain't got no political power. You ain't got shit. All you got is some protests and people online talking. And you think that that's enough for you to get reparations? Them people know, they know exactly who you are. They know who Jason Black is. They know who Tariq Nasheed is. They cherry pick shit off of what you say. And that still ain't, it's either, listen, man, am I saying vote 100% for Trump? No. What I am saying is you have to get some sort of fucking tangibles, man. And if somebody's talking about tangibles, hold them to the feet to the fire. Say, this is, okay, if you saying this is what you're going to do, this is what I'm expecting. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, you want 20 trillion, that shit ain't finna happen, man. It's not gonna happen. Nobody's gonna give you $20 trillion. They bitching about the national debt now. You think they finna give you $20 trillion? What's up, man? What's up, y'all? This shit is sick, man. Grow minority-owned businesses with additional tax cuts to stimulate hiring and investment. Encourage onshoring and development of domestic manufacturing to increase supply chain business development and employment. Examine barriers to employment, including fees, occupational licensing. So basically cutting government out the way. So if you want to start a business and you got some sort of licenses and shit you got to get, they're going to try to cut that shit down. Arrest record inaccuracy and expungement. Increase activity in opportunity zones, including benefits for local hires. So just because somebody bring money in there, you get benefits by hiring the people in that community. Invest $20 billion toward broadband and internet access to create job opportunities, improve classroom connectivity, and the ability to utilize So these are specifics, man. Like, I don't know what the fuck these niggas want, but I need them to come with specifics. Like, if you, besides $20 trillion, okay, because this shit just is not gonna happen. And I'm tired of people just saying shit on the internet, grandstanding to get likes and sell their fucking DVDs and shit. That's all these niggas want to do. When somebody come in, because I called my homeboy, I said, man, he making a fucking mess tonight. Because everybody that called up, that was saying, hey man, these are specifics that we're talking about, right? Because this is somewhat granular to me. This is pretty granular. That you can hold somebody, look at you, say, okay, examine barriers to employment. Okay, so that might be something that you could say, well, that's just examining. But there's a lot of shit that I'm seeing like, okay, they are saying something. Increase opportunity for small businesses, lending and technical assistance through community development, financial institutions in order to grow business and create generational wealth opportunities with over $400 billion in lending. So if you're trying to start a business, they trying to throw $400 billion towards loans for black people. Shit, man. I mean, what do you want? What do they want? Like this the shit I'm talking about. I'm not trying to say $400 billion is anywhere near approaching what's owed to black folks. Okay, but we all in agreement with that in that aspect. But shit, how you gonna get there? You get what I'm saying? How are you going to get where you can get that amount of money sent into the black community, where you can get the $20 trillion? You got to start with some sort of infrastructure, man. This shit, man, motherfucker stupid. I'm sorry, I don't fuck with nobody say. You fuck how many followers you got, how loud you are, how you can spell better than other people. So just because you can spell sociologically, you're right, because that's what he was just trying to do. I'm listening to this shit. Spell sociologically. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so the dude's not the best speller. That doesn't necessarily. He's from Jamaica. He doesn't give a shit. He's not going to get the $20 trillion. That wasn't the point. And I'm not saying that there aren't foreigners who really probably are against us getting reparations. But to just sit and say that this, because guys, it ain't like, this the thing I'm thinking. It is not like if you did this and then you supported this and then it didn't happen, that you can't just flip and say, fuck it, I need more. Now, in order, the price is much higher. Now we need $1 trillion instead of 500 billion. And we need guaranteed. We need this, we need that. We ain't never done shit. We ain't never, listen. Guys, do you understand? We've had $22 trillion thrown at the black community through the war on poverty and all that shit. And look at how it's fucked us up. What right now, if somebody were to come and say, okay, we're gonna give y'all $500 million, how are you gonna track where it's going? Who's gonna implement it? Right? That type of shit. Those types of questions. We don't know. We got to get started somewhere. This is a start. This is if I had to put this into a number, this would be about at least 2% of what's really old to our ass. Okay? 2%. We're old way more than this. But to sit and just say, to shoot shit down when people talking, I would have rather they just completely ignored it and watched. Or had the attitude, you know what, I'm gonna watch and see. I don't know if this is a start. It's not nowhere near what we need and what was really owed to black people. But it would be good to see this go through because this would help start businesses. It almost make you question: do these motherfuckers? What do they really? What do you really want? It's almost like you'd rather see. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something. You gotta understand and listen who you talk. I mean, listen. You gotta watch who you're listening to because when you listen to someone who's made millions off of black people complaining and suffering of over the shit that they've been through in America, they don't want to see shit like it. If this shit really does go through and Trump, let's say he did do all this shit, say he wins, everything on one of these checklists came through, they would lose a lot of their argument because then black people were like, shit, I mean, he did do it, he did deliver on it. So shit, maybe, maybe we should have voted this way or maybe we should have supported this. So that it would fuck with their money. You see what I'm saying? You gotta understand, black people, you being fucked up, not having no money, feeling downtrodden like the white man got his foot on your neck is very profitable for a certain group of people. It just is. And that's who these guys are. It's profitable for Jason Black for you to feel like you're suffering, like the white man got his foot on your neck, like you're hopeless. Like it's profitable. That, because this is the thing. If you're telling me to hold my vote hostage, which is what he's been saying for years, I don't think he's going to get it all done. I don't think that. Shit, this is a lie. This is a whole lie. I don't think he's going to get all this done. I think if he does get in there, he's going to knock off some of these bullet points, though. At least the money part, I think that ain't hard to do. $400 billion, $500 billion, that ain't hard. Not at all. To get businesses and shit, I don't think it's hard to do. What's up, Kobe? But I just right now, exactly. This list has more tangibles than Barack Obama offered. It does. And so my thing is, when you it's like these people are asking for some shit that's just right now it's unrealistic to ask for 20 trillion. That's like if you tell your son, hey, you know what, son, I'm gonna get you a car. What kind of car you want? Now you know me, you know your dad, you know how much money he got, you know where he worked, you know if he got a business, whatever. You can't get $100,000 BMW or Mercedes. You know that. So you say, you know what, Dad? Give me a Camry. Give me a Camry. Give me a damn used Camry for about 4-year-old Toyota Camry that you might get for about $8,000. That's not even close to what you know what I'm saying? Or if you say, okay, my dad don't make that much. Okay. Or it's not even about what we got, because you be like, well, they got the money. Yeah, we got the money, but the political clout is not there. Not only is it not political clout not there, guys, in order for black people to have some political clout and to really move things in their direction, you need two things. You need to first have the political sentiment, which we see right now. We do have that. Somebody has gotten up there and said something to Trump. Trump has been listening. Trump called Dr. Claude Anderson. Trump has read Powernomics. And a lot of this shit is straight up out of when you see him talking like this, when you see him, what's the word? Let me go back up. Black economic empowerment. Yeah, he read Powernomics. Somebody in his camp has read Powernomics. That's why they talking like this. Now, is this a ploy to get elected? Of course it is. But he gonna have to deliver on some of this shit. It's gonna look pretty bad. It's gonna look really bad, and it will solidify the base for the Democrats. So you can't just come out here saying you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. and you ain't done shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to really come with some sort of tangibles. That's my problem. So I think I think he's gonna have to try to do something. And I just think that um, I don't know, the people that are just saying this shit ain't gonna, man, this shit ain't gonna do nothing, man. What's 500, man? That's a drop in the bucket. Y'all niggas ain't got shit. You got all these athletes and celebrities just begging white folks to give them, do shit for them. So when somebody finally come and drop $500 billion in there, don't just say that ain't shit. Because let's be honest, it really won't take much of the money. Listen, in order for us to see a change in the black community, it won't really take as much as you think. I think what it will take is for a small remnant of black people to have businesses. If you look at the white community and the way it's structured, not every white person is a damn Mark Zuckerberg. Not every white person is Bill Gates. Not every white person is but those guys that are like that, those black people that have the heart to build and help their people. Like if you give me shit, 3-4 million dollars, I could take my company to the next level and help way more black folks than what I'm helping. But because of the lack of capital in our community, I don't make an excuse. I believe I can actually get my hands on the money. I believe I am gonna get my hands on the money. But that being said, if there was a program, I could just go sign up and get $500 million. I mean, not half a billion, but half of a $2 or $3 million or shit, $500,000 liquid cash to invest in my business. That shit would change and work wonders. And I've already shown a track record of being able to help people. There's a lot of black people in our community that will help. That the real warriors in our community, the real fighters, the real producers, the real productive black people that may not have the resources, but they're already showing that they're productive with the little resources they have. When you throw $500 million at that community, 1% is going to really thrive. 500 companies out of that $500 million, or probably maybe more, let's say 5,000, for example, are probably really going to be successful. And those 5,000 companies are going to really probably employ a lot of people and help black people. And what you need is infrastructure. You don't have enough. That's what I was trying to tell my homeboy Sean the other day. We don't have enough infrastructure to accomplish that. He said, well, we have businesses. We do. We need more. We need a lot more. And I'm going to show you. I'm not just going to pull this out my ass. I'm going to show you. You know what I'm saying? This website right here, blackdemographics.com, one of my favorite websites. Economics, employment, black-owned business. Let me go there. Black-owned business. I'm gonna show you compared to other races how we're behind. I'm not tripping about it, but white-owned employers create 56 million jobs. Black-owned employers create 1.2. White-owned employers can employ 39% of all working age white adults. We can employ only 5% of black people. You see what I'm saying? 1.2 million. That means this would go up to 1.7 million. See what I'm saying? Annual revenue, $11 trillion, 127 billion. See what I'm saying? So a lot of our business ain't really generating no money. You hear what I'm saying? That's why I'm talking about that small percentage that will be successful. These are the things that when you want to talk about that gap, that disparity and all that shit he was just talking about, that's what he was talking about. Look at that. Hispanics pull in almost over three times what we pull in business. And they can employ 8% of their own. They do employ 8%, could employ 8%. They got 2.9 million. They got more businesses than we got. And see, this is the funny shit. There's a direct correlation. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about this. There's a direct correlation in business ownership and incarceration and every negative. What's up, champion? In every negative that you see, there's a direct correlation. The less businesses you own, you get what I'm saying? Now, because they're not a big segment of the population, they actually outperform them per capita. It's just that it ain't as many of them. So this, you know what I'm saying? But they outperforming them. Asians are probably more successful than the average white person. And a lot of these numbers are skewed because you got the trillion, the billionaires and stuff all figured in with this. What's up? What's up, Space Cowboy? So the point I'm trying to make is, if somebody's coming and they're saying they're going to give black people a small percentage of something, if it's $500 billion, I'm not finna be like, that ain't shit. I'm finna be like, no, that's a start. That's cool. And at this juncture, we're not gonna get $20 trillion given to us, man. That's not how shit works. Let me show y'all something, man. I'm gonna go to my other channel. They don't vote. They don't, but you gotta have infrastructure. You gotta have the infrastructure first. Let me show you something. I'm gonna go to my other channel. I'm gonna go to the other channel. I'm gonna show you this Black Patriarch channel. Then took his channel back down again. Damn. Is it? Yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna go to my other channel. And I'm gonna show y'all something. So it was a video I put up by Black Patriarch about reparations. And it was, where is it? Here it is.
We are.
See, the thing, Black Patriarch broke this thing down. You know what I'm saying? You see, I tried to explain why the Native Black Americans deserve reparations.
Me personally, I would like for us to talk about land allocation. Also, I would like for we need to talk about some of those Indian treaties that's already in law. They've just not been enforced.
Now, see, the stuff they're saying, I agree with. I don't have no problem with none of the stuff they're saying. Real physical tangibles. We all agree on that.
Claude Anderson has been going back and forth to court about the treaties, like the Treaty of 1866, how some of these Native American tribes owe Black freedmen and their descendants some of the resources and some of the land. That's something that I think we should bring to the politicians. Also, funds and resources allocated towards Black business development. Those are things that I think we should bring to the politicians. What are some others?
They just said that. Didn't they just say funds allocated towards Black business development? Didn't they just say, said that? That shit ain't good enough. Just sitting around Monday morning quarterbacking and bitching. You're not gonna get land allocation. That shit is down the road. This shit is just, see, we need to take a page out of the LGBT book. They took civil unions, they celebrated that shit. They got gay marriage. Now they are a protected group. They just like Black people now. But they march, they got that shit piece by piece. You are not gonna get reparations in a fail swoop from nothing. You ain't got no organization, you ain't got no damn real thing. You only got one decent think tank in Dr. Claude Anderson. And then all of a sudden, we get reparations. Shit ain't gonna happen like that. It's not.
Suggestions that you brothers think that we should bring to them for tangibles.
If I had my brothers, I would duplicate exactly what happened for those white boys who came back from World War II in the 1940s. If you're a white male who came back from war, the U.S. government made sure that you had the GI Bill, you had free education. They made sure that you had a housing grant, not a housing loan. They made sure you had a housing grant. A lot of those bungalows out in California paid for by the U.S. government with housing grants. And they also made sure the Small Business Administration gave you a business grant, not a loan. If I had my ideas about it, we would have a TARP fund for Black people in America. For Black people who are descendants of slaves, we would have a TARP fund for us. They had a TARP program in the modern era.
I'm sorry, but I think the 500 billion is a drop. It's start. It is the first drop in the bucket. It's a deep ass bucket. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's my problem. I mean, yeah, he done a little shit for Black folks. Not my big guy. Like, oh yeah, this was big. Now he done some things for Black folks. So I'm not tripping about it. I just think that if we're going to engage politics, let's be consistent. Because half the shit they talking about I just read to you is what they asking for. It's probably not as big a number, it's not trillions, but let's be realistic. If you do that, this shit will unravel if they just came and gave black folks 20 trillion straight out cold turkey. Come on, man. Come on, we know better than that.
Where they spent literally trillions of dollars to bail out the bank, and then turned around and told black folk ain't no money for you.
See, that's what I'm saying. So you think, okay, they're gonna bail out the banks. Why? It's the fucking Bilderbergers. It's the banks have power. We don't. I just showed you that shit. Just showed you. This is why the banks is up in here. That's what the bank said. Look where we at. That's why the banks got to bail out. They can control shit. And this is blackdemographics.com. But the bank, this is why they got up here. And half the shit with the banks ain't even counted in here, to be honest with you. If we really want to be realistic, don't even count the real shit with the banks. Don't get it twisted.
As you see, we were on a conference, me and my other brothers, telling you what tangibles to bring to these politicians, what type of plans
they took power numbers, they read it, and they talking closely to what everybody been saying. I ain't saying that it's the best it can be. I would have designed something even better than this, but come on. I think this is a start. I don't think it's the best. Nah, this $500 billion ain't shit compared to what we really need. But if somebody told me, hey, you get $500 billion to get started, I'm okay. This is a step in the right direction. I will say that.
We need to bring to them about giving resources to us, creating what could be compared to a Marshall Plan, talking about land allocation, talking about resource allocation, talking about
Marshall Plan is kind of like what this would look like. It would probably look something like this when it starts in its infancy. It would look like this. Some shit that he can probably get through without losing half his damn base. This is Donald Trump we talking about, okay? You got racist people that support him. I'm gonna tell the truth. You do, right? Not everybody. I don't even think most of them, but a lot of people that support Trump are racist. A lot of people are, dormantly racist, don't know they're racist, but they logically have to figure out how to fuck black people over. Those type of, you got that shit going on. So, and I'm finna show you that. Let me show you.
Amnesty, talking about sovereignty to a certain degree where, they can't come into certain neighborhoods harming us. A lot of great ideas that we can bring to the table when we're talking about tangibles.
This shit he ain't gonna lose his base. No, he ain't. Not off this. Not off this stuff here. So you are right. Let's say you're right. So $20 trillion is far-fetched, and so is the Democrat. Biden would lose his base. White liberals wouldn't fuck with Biden. Do you honestly, screenwriter, think that the white liberals would fuck with Biden if he really did write a check for reparations to black folk? Hell no. We know when you get it from them. They done told us outright they ain't doing shit for niggas. That's what Kamala Harris said. She ain't doing shit. So the one that's literally saying I'm gonna do something for you, we talking shit. I'm just telling you. He ain't gonna do shit. It's like they wouldn't lose their base if they wrote, oh my God. Screenwriter, let me keep going.
And we got to be unafraid to say we want these for black.
Do you really think, if that's the case, why haven't they done shit? You don't think white liberals will have a fit if they cut? Come on, man. Come on. That's all I'm saying. This is just a drop in the bucket. I'm not saying that this is the best thing. I'm not saying I love Trump. I didn't tell you to do all that. I'm just telling you that somebody's saying, I can't look at that, what's on that paper, and say that was a bad idea. All that shit is a good idea. Is he gonna do it? I don't know.
Black people.
Says, but there are two big major problems regarding reparations. The first one is political, and the second one is racial. Democrats and Republicans are the main parties in the country. See here on the left, the Democrat Party believes in gay rights, social programs, labor unions, regulation, gender, and racial equality.
So what exactly do Democrats believe? Well, the modern Democratic Party traces its roots to the progressive President Franklin D. Roosevelt. At the height of the Great Depression, Roosevelt created Social Security and other big government programs meant to protect the unemployed and the working poor. Through government-sponsored public works projects, he created jobs and opportunities for those suffering from the stock market crash. Today, Democrats still believe in the power of government to provide a just and equal society. Democrats advocate stricter government regulation on big business and larger participation in the social safety net. The party also champions the middle class and has generally supported labor movements and unions. They do this by promoting progressive tax plans in which wealthier members of society,
like the teacher union that keep our children locked in failing schools,
a higher percentage on their income than the poor or middle class. On social issues, Democrats are seen as being open to societal change, often helping those who face discrimination and poverty. Although they generally oppose undocumented immigration, they believe that the government should help those who want to immigrate while focusing on deporting dangerous criminals. The Democratic Party considers
they no longer support illegal immigration. I mean, they no longer oppose illegal immigration. They support it. They have them speaking at their damn conventions now. They don't care. They completely finna wipe our ass out.
Considers itself an ally for LGBT causes, citing the president's support for same-sex marriage. In addition, they believe in a proper separation of church and state.
Destruction of marriage, getting rid of the church,
state, along with stricter gun control laws.
No guns. Democrats.
So what exactly do Republicans believe? They believe there should be limited government interference in daily life as it leads to a better functioning state. This means fewer business regulations and smaller bureaucracies in public institutions. When it comes to the economy, Republicans tend to believe in the power of the free market to generate wealth. In the system, it's believed that low taxes for the rich will prompt them to invest in businesses, thus creating more jobs, causing the wealth to trickle down to the poor. Republicans also tend to hold conservative views on social issues. Despite gay marriage bans being ruled unconstitutional in 2015, candidates like Ben Carson and Mike Huckabee have expressed their opposition to the idea. The 2012 platform opposes a redefinition of marriage and maintains an anti-abortion stance. Republicans are also known.
That's why they bitching about the Supreme Court. They want to keep that shit. That's their crown jewel: abortion, gay marriage. They got to keep that shit because they got pedophilia coming down the pipe. They know they got to push that. They can't push pedophilia through if the Supreme Court is conservative. They know that.
For supporting the military. Ever since Theodore Roosevelt's presidency, the GOP has advocated for American exceptionalism and intervention around the world.
According to some of the numbers that Dr. Lowry gave us a little while ago, when you do the math, when you multiply the suggested amount of reparations by the number of blacks in the United States, it works out to be about $3.5 trillion spent on reparations. In a few minutes, Mr. Murdoch will explain to you just how expensive, impractical, and unfair reparations are.
Here we go.
To us as individuals. But right now, I want to explain how reparations would come at the direct expense of what we need most to solve this problem.
I see you bring up the point of reparations in your show often, and I see you bring it up to most of the times to people who are not prepared with enough data.
Now, you're not going to like me probably because I'm against reparations, but I say this: look, if
we just got to look at the climate, bro. You just got to look at the climate.
If African Americans get reparations from the government, okay, then everybody has to get them.
See that? That's the logic they finna go down. It's not just gonna be them. This is what Bernie Sanders has said. That's why I'm like, I don't know why black folks don't think Bernie Sanders is against it. Bernie Sanders is the most liberal motherfucker it is. He against that shit.
Native Americans have to get them. Chinese Americans have to get them. I have to get a whole bunch of stuff in the crown. All right. So I'm saying we all acknowledge slavery was bad.
See, that's the argument. They tell you it's slavery. We know this shit bigger than slavery. They know that shit. He playing a little chess game. Never let these crackers trap you talking about it's just slavery. We know damn well reparations ain't just slavery.
African Americans, it continues to hurt them to this day. All right, we all acknowledge that. But by giving you or anybody else a check, you do more damage than good. It's simply not fair. We're going to give reparations to every Union soldier's family that was.
See, so when you try to stop a cracker like this, the best thing you do is you just talk about businesses. And then when they bitch about that, you turn around and say, okay, you bitching about the businesses, but you bitching about welfare too. You can't have it both ways. Let's give them businesses so they won't be on welfare. Let's give them businesses and banks and home ownership and shit like that, and better education so they can become more productive so that the welfare state will shrink. That's how they think. You got to beat them at their own game. Can't, because he'll bitch about all that shit I just named.
Killed trying to free the slaves? Are we going to do that?
Right? Social justice suggests that.
Listen. Screenwriter, you got to spit the chip out, sister. You got to spit it out. He already proposed this, so he about to lose the election because he proposed this here then. This gonna piss him off. I'm telling you that we're not strong enough to ask for reparations yet. We not. So this is probably the closest you can get to reparations. This is the olive branch. I said this shit when Trump got in. I said he don't nobody like him. The Republicans don't like him. The Democrats don't like him, but the people love him. That's why you got a shot at getting something from this man. This man actually did. He the first guy I seen in the White House that actually put his hands on Black labor, white wealth, power numbers. He the first one that got it from Kanye West, the dude that everybody said was crazy. When you listen to Kanye, he was saying some real shit. And everybody said that man was crazy. I'm just saying, this is the closest you're going to get. So at this juncture, we're not politically strong enough to ask for reparations. So we don't need to worry about this right here, what you're saying, because that's not going to happen. But he can do this and still get elected. Let's get this, strengthen ourselves, come back 8 years, 6 years from now, and ask for some more shit. That's my mentality. That's always like, we trying to get $20 trillion, no damn well. Black folks ain't finna get no $20 trillion in reparations.
You know, I, as a supposedly white man, you know, Jews became white people as soon as we became successful in America. I, as a white man, I'm responsible for paying slavery reparations, for example, in the name of social justice, even though all of my ancestors were busy getting killed by Cossacks in Russia at the time that slavery was taking place. And less than 5% of white.
The reason Native Americans got this, Native Americans negotiated this shit way back in the 1800s when they was shooting people, right? Holocaust, you're going to get my channel deleted if I really talk about what I tell you and what I really believe about the Holocaust. I don't believe it happened.
White Americans.
So it's another reason why they getting that.
Alive today have ancestors who ever held slaves. Every white person in America, though, has to pay because of group justice. How is that just? It's not. But it's group justice. It's social justice.
See there, he said these people are totally wrong, but they have the power, and the argument will resonate strongly with a lot of white people. Facts on both sides of the argument. Because the U.S. has a very long history of racism against Native Black Americans, and that hatred still continues to exist today.
What's your position?
My position is sure, slavery was a horrible thing that happened, but this is not going to help race relations in the United States. It's not going to help the dialogue. And that would be different if residents today were affected themselves because of something that happened.
We don't even have the media to combat this shit, man. Like, you ain't even got nobody on the panel that can, because I would light into their ass about reparations, but I ain't on the panel. We on YouTube, but they ignore our ass on YouTube.
Back in the 1800s, but unfortunately, now all it's going to do is cause more tension amongst the races.
Yeah, there were some slaves that said that, but then you got to couple that with all the dirt that was done to black folks. They actually had hope back then. So them folks had a lot of hope. They was like, man, just get out my way. I can build my own. That's what they was thinking. So you can't fault the slaves that thought like that. Over 70% of American people oppose reparations for the descendants of American slaves. Let the Trump go. Let the Trump stuff go. I know you're a Biden supporter. Just let it go. You're gonna vote for Biden. Go right ahead, screenwriter. He said the only solution left is to be screwed, to be smart, to be creative, to be inventive. I agree 1,000%. The only way to overcome this insurmountable hurdle is to make some tough and painful compromises. And in my opinion, the only way to overcome this hurdle is to ask to pay for reparations to ourselves, which I agree with this. He's about to go through how we can do reparations for ourselves. See, when I say a lot of shit, I'm influenced by other people. When I say what I'm saying about we need to save ourselves, this is part of the reason I say this, because this brother had a brilliant video where he broke down how we could empower ourselves. That's why you hear me saying what I say. I know it's a very painful concession, but it's going to pay off big time because we have a lot of money at our disposal. This is what Sean was getting at. But we can't aggregate our wealth, which is what Dr. Claude Anderson talks about. Talking about consumption is one thing. Being able to aggregate it and formulate it into a laser beam to use to your advantage is another.
We are 41 million people strong in this country.
I'm 89% black, so I'm black. I'm a full-blooded black as far as I'm concerned. 89%, I think I got like 10% Latin, Europe, whatever, Irish. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm a nigga. I'm black. I'm from Africa. That's my. I trace my blood DNA. So when they start talking that pure blood shit they want to, I'm way over 50%.
41 million. That is a country. That is a country like Argentina. That is a country like Spain. We in 2012 will be spending $1 trillion. That's the power that we have. Now you can't tell me that with 41 million people united with $1 trillion, we can't get what we need from this government.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey Johnson II. This is Pastor Jeffrey Johnson Sr. Our community has over $1 trillion worth of spending power. So it's time for us to use that spending power to support our minorities and small
Man, this can't be some pastors doing this. What's this?
This is to uplift and empower our communities.
And we have the prime opportunity to do so during the summer celebration. So meet me in the exhibition hall so we can support the small businesses and minority businesses who have helped our community to survive and thrive. So join me there.
So we basically got the same money as Spain and Italy. When you understand that, you can understand that we are sitting on a huge amount of money, but we don't use it the right way. Facts. See there? He says, again, that is a tough pill to swallow, but if we do that, white people don't have a strong argument anymore to oppose reparations. Basically, what he's about to do is propose a deficit-neutral way of black people to start getting reparations. And it's going to be a deficit-neutral way to force us to start circulating our dollars in our community. Check this out.
When you consider that presidents have been trying since Teddy Roosevelt to get health care passed, FDR was hoping to do it, JFK.
No matter how hard the road, what history will record is that Obama got it done. This is the story of the epic battle to pass Obamacare. So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President. First, Obama took his case to the very people he knew would try to kill him. And there were others Obama needed on his side. The special interests, insurance companies, big pharma, the doctors' associations.
Karen represents America's health insurance plans.
We understand we have to earn a seat at the table.
He wanted the very groups that had killed healthcare reform in the past inside the room now. In March 2009, he brought them all to the White House.
We kept every one of those, but one, at the table.
All of the groups here need to stay involved.
They all made demands.
See how this shit work? You see, this is how you get shit done in Washington. Black folks don't understand that. See, if you want reparations, you got to do some shit like this, which means he had to compromise to get it passed. And it was a shitty bill. But if you want something done, this is how you would have to get it done. So when I say that, this is that compromise. To start, it's a start. It's not the end. They pushing the single payer, and I think they're gonna get it one day. But they started with Obamacare. That's how shit works.
Obama made deals. None of these groups are doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're negotiating. They want the best deal possible. He compromised on the thing that was most sacred to him, the individual mandate that every citizen buy health care. The idealistic candidate had become a steely-eyed pragmatist.
Yes, we will. Freedom.
And he made more concessions, giving up the public option, which would have created a government insurance program that would have competed with private companies.
We ended up having to wrestle this thing to the ground in a way that was less than ideal from my perspective.
Finally, March 21, 2010.
On this vote, the ayes are 219, the nays are 212. The motion to concur in the Senate amendment is adopted.
For decades, they've been trying to do it. It has now been done.
Without a single Republican vote, the bill passed. The White House celebrated.
As you can see, President Obama had to make painful compromises in order to pass Obamacare. You must understand that things are never perfect in politics, especially when you are in a weak position like us. So this shit, Jason Black and Tarika's talking on the internet tonight, it sounds real masculine. Yes, we are not gonna compromise. We are gonna get 20 million. You ain't getting shit. You ain't getting a damn thing. But some talk. That's all you get.
Some aspects of Black Power are very disturbing to us because it means revolution. It means violence. But other aspects of Black
See, this shit old. Now watch what he say.
Power are very constructive.
Watch what he say. Watch what he say, man.
Some aspects of Black Power are very disturbing to us because it means revolution. It means violence. But other aspects of Black Power are very constructive because it means that Black people, they want to stand on their own feet. They want to have Black banks and not just go to white banks. They want to have Black businesses and not just go to the white businesses.
When last time you heard a president talk like that? This the one they tell you to hate, Nixon. Every time you watch a movie, he the racist guy. Remember The Butler? He was extremely racist. Nixon's the evil guy. No, bro. I'm not saying Nixon was an angel by no stretch. But what I'm saying is, I just think that we've been engaging politics completely all wrong, and it's gotten us fucked up. We done got $22 trillion thrown at us, and we fucked up. It destroyed our family. It got our women out here. I just watched Lovecraft Country. That shit was halfway feminist, talking about how she being a wife was her not living to her full potential, and just some disrespectful shit I just watched. But while we got there, you know what I'm saying? The way we listening to the wrong people.
And they should have, and they will have.
There's a direct relationship between having businesses and being in prison. Go find see how many Asians you can find in American prisons. They ain't gonna be in there. But 51% of your prison will be black because blacks don't have any businesses and industries. There's a direct link. Blacks won't practice group economics. Black won't practice group politics. If you don't practice, you're setting yourself up. I told that 5-story building, you're setting yourself to get wiped out. Understand the nature of race, which is economics. If you build the first floor, it's economic. Build your businesses and your industries. Control business and industry, and put that pools in your money, and hold that money.
Now hold on. That's what I was just talking about on here. This is a drop in that bucket. This isn't going to completely build the first floor. But if somebody say, hey, we're going to bring you some wood and some nails so you can build that first floor, bring it on. Bring it on. We need to start working on it if we really are serious about building instead of just getting on the internet and talking shit. Black-owned economic infrastructure. That's exactly what that shit just said I showed you. Black economic empowerment. Talking about building infrastructure down here. So that's all I'm saying. That's it. I'm not saying that Donald Trump is an angel. I'm not saying you should love Donald Trump. I'm not saying you should be Republican. You ain't got to be conservative. But some shit, I don't care. A nigga can be a damn Marxist all he want to. When I talk about reparations and building economically, if you ain't with that shit, you really cooning. And I think it's coonery for people to sit and bitch about they want $20 million, $20 trillion when we ain't got $500 billion. And if somebody's going to bring that money for you to turn it down, talking about that's just a sleight of hand. No, my nigga, I'll take that 500. You say that shit. I'm going to get this government loan that they got for black folks, and I'm going to get it. That's why when they have SBA programs for black folks, we don't even go into motherfuckers because we think it's a lot of shit in government. And you can go ask MOT about this. There's a lot of businesses, a lot of things that black people qualify for. We won't even come up in there. I done talked to people. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. I done talked to people about government contracts and shit like that. And a lot of times, black folks don't even fill out the paperwork. They don't even come in here. So when somebody trying to tell you about some shit that could probably set up to help black folks, you got motherfuckers out there bitching, telling about they want $20 trillion, which is never going to happen. If he can't get Obamacare, if Obama can't get free health care for everybody in America, what make you think that you're going to get reparations? Shit. When 70% of people don't want you to have that shit. I agree. Reparations isn't realistic. So what will be realistic is some shit like this here. We can get this done. This ain't far-fetched. And then we can come back and twist their arm. In order you can get reparations. See, I don't think it's not realistic. I believe it can be done. It might not be 20 trillion at one time, but it could be 2 trillion a year for the next 10 years, 10, 15 years. It could easily be that. You could probably get that and have that shit set up a certain way and say, we're going to go alphabetical. And we're going to start with all the people that live in these cities or whatever, this state, starting in Alabama, Arkansas, and we're going to do this specific. You can do that shit. It can be done. See, I ain't like that. I believe reparations is possible. And it won't even be a big deal. But check this out. This is another way it's possible. So you're talking about economic segregation.
African American owned businesses are the most rapidly growing businesses in our country today. However, they tend to have issues with access to capital. They also face issues with collateral, and it makes it difficult for them to expand their businesses as they don't have the resources.
Exactly, which is what that damn $500 billion would be. That shit would mean a lot to me if I got $500,000 for my damn company. You got $500,000 for your company. Shit, don't tell me that shit wouldn't help a lot of black folk. And you out here talking about, they out here talking about that's a sleight of hand, that's a con. Come on, man. Come on, dog. I ain't saying you gotta love Trump or even vote for Trump, but you gotta at least admit that was at least something different that I think we would benefit from if we were to actually, if it was implemented. Now, is he gonna implement this shit? I don't know. The money part ain't that hard to implement. That's easy. I don't think that's a big deal. I think the other stuff getting implemented. I think he's gonna get rid of the Mexicans. He's gonna build a wall. He said he's building 10 miles, 10 miles a day? So he ain't going 10 miles a week, some shit like that. So they doing something.
Now, each year we ask the same question. What is the state of Black America? Today, our esteemed panelists will answer that question as it relates to the state of Black business.
I mean, when you say we've adopted American culture, African culture isn't just righteous, irate, just because it's African culture either. I mean, it's a lot of dysfunction in Africa too, not because they adopted European culture. Africa was dysfunctional. You can go read African history. We've been killing each other and acting a fool over there in Africa for a while. We're probably just now starting to have a Pan-African way of looking at shit in Africa. Not us, we've been had it. But there are a few Africans that are starting to understand and think different. They just not getting to that point. They're very tribalistic.
Women are the fastest growing entrepreneurial group in the country, period, right now, followed by Latino women. So we're seeing good.
I mean, I talked to him at the conference. He was cool, dude.
Things in that area. But the issue of access to capital, the issue of mentorship, these are issues that we address annually at the Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Summit, is a major one because now the issue is no longer just starting businesses. Because starting businesses that employ only one or two people, that's not bad, but it's not going to address the larger issues when we talk about the state of Black America, which is job creation and wealth creation.
And I really want to kind of push back on the idea that African Americans don't support African American owned businesses. And I really want to kind of push back on the idea that African Americans don't support African American owned businesses. I've found in my own experiences that if it were not for the African American community, for Black people who rallied behind me, that neither one of my businesses would have flourished to the point that it has, because the support of the community was so strong financially and also spiritually, and also just to get the mentoring that I needed from other business owners, that was important. And so
as soon as a Black person gets paid, before it touches another Black hand, he runs right to the suburbs and spends it. He spends 95% of his money immediately outside his own community. He spends 95% of his money immediately outside his own community. He keeps 5% to take back into his community. Out of 5% he takes back into his community, he spends 3% of that in non-Black owned hands in his own community. Look around your neighborhood, goes into non-Black owned businesses. Only 2% again, only 2% of all the Black people in America keep their own money in their own communities.
Metro Foodland, oh yeah, we got what you need from the Metro Foodland.
Metro Foodland, your one-stop grocery mart, conveniently located at the Grand Line Shopping Center in Detroit.
Metro Foodland, oh yeah, we got what you need.
My family loves Metro Foodland.
We violate every principle of economics. Your money is supposed to stay inside your community and bounce 8 to 12 times before it leaves. Black money does not bounce one time. You know why it doesn't bounce one time? Because you don't have any communities to bounce it in. You're so busy integrating. Where are you going to bounce it? How are you going to pass it through another Black hand? You go bankrupt every 24 hours. This is regular clock. And whites don't take you serious. They know that anybody who goes bankrupt every 24 hours should not.
Screenwriter, you just being contrary. You know damn well our dollars don't stay in our communities more than 30 minutes on Friday. You know that.
Be taken seriously. They know you're gonna violate all the rules.
I know. Look, I live in Atlanta. I could go a whole week spending my money. I love spending my money. I love where I live. I could go spend money with nothing but Black folks. I'm just a drop in the bucket though. Like tomorrow, I go eat at a Black restaurant, but I might go to the gym and it's a white person on the gym. I might go to the gas station. I ever be going to the gas station, but I could go buy clothes, I can go get a haircut, and I can get food from black folks. I want to go chill and get a drink, I can get it from black folks in Atlanta. It's just certain types of business. I agree with this point here. Black people, we do certain types of businesses, clubs, barbershops, mechanics, shit like that.
Segregation was good for entrepreneurs because, number one, white funeral homes didn't bury blacks. White barbers didn't cut black hair.
Listen to what this man about to say about segregation.
Segregation was good for entrepreneurs because, number one, white funeral homes didn't bury blacks. White barbers didn't cut black hair. Okay, so blacks control the taxi industry that are going through. So, and what I'm really trying to do is remind blacks of the values we once had that we don't have today.
Tariffs, also known as duties, are taxes that are placed on imports and exports out of a country. Unlike a sales tax, tariff rates are often different for every good. Some goods face high tariffs, while others face low tariffs. Tariffs, along with other applicable fees, are collected during customs clearance and serve several different functions. They are used to generate income for the federal government, protect domestic businesses, protect domestic technology, and also protect growing industries.
You know what he meant. Come on, man. You being contrarian tonight. You just in one of the moods tonight. You know what he meant. I mean, hotels, black. Movie theaters, black. Bus lines. Dr. Claude Anderson's family owned one in Raleigh, based out of Raleigh, black. We know what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? 5 and dime store, black. You know what I'm saying? Now your ass go to drugstore and CVS.
By levying tariffs, it raises the prices of foreign goods and makes it harder for foreign companies to penetrate the domestic market. Tariffs are sometimes detrimental to the global economy because it inhibits free trade and will decrease innovation if an industry is overprotected. But if employed correctly, they can help protect a nation and its economy.
So we talking about putting a barrier or a trade tariff on the black community. Let's check it out.
Now, a non-tariff barrier can be a few things. First, it can be as extreme as an embargo. An embargo is an outright ban on all imports. The United States maintains economic sanctions on Iran, for instance, which includes a ban on their exports entering the United States. Second, it could be a quota or a quantitative restriction. An import quota is a rule that says only a certain amount of product X from country Y can enter a country during a certain period of time.
So basically, they're saying they're going to penalize us when we spend our money outside our community. Check this out. All we got to do is take some of this $1.3 trillion and funnel it a certain direction. It'll fix our problems. Watch this. It does not have to be, reparations does not have to be from the government. We can fix it. This shit could be implemented. I mean, I don't have no line in the White House like that, but this is something I would propose. Would be creative and innovative. Check it out. And no white conservative would have a problem with it. White Democrats, nobody can say they're giving any of their own money to pay for it. This shit is completely deficit neutral. Check it out.
We're able to think about how we capture that spend, capitalize on it, and grow it in a strategic way in our commercial corridors and within our neighborhoods. I think we have tremendous potential.
he basically saying we can ban people from doing businesses outside of our community and people doing business in our community. And the technology's there. He's talking about these credit cards.
Morgan Chase and Company, September Hargrove.
Good afternoon. Over the next couple of slides, I'm going to really focus in on two types of data that we've captured. One being the local consumer commerce index, which really looks at the card transactions of our customers across the country. We focused in on 14 cities where we've been able to really drill down into what are our customers purchasing, what are the demographics of those customers, where are they buying it at.
Saying the bank can track everything. With this kind of technology, it becomes very easy to control the spending habits of Black people.
Johnson started her business out of her bedroom on Chicago's West Side nearly 30 years ago. She owns this building and this equipment. Today, she employs 8 full-time workers, 8 full-time workers, 8 full-time workers, provides part-time work to young people in the summer.
How important is it for you knowing that you're providing a livelihood for other people in your community?
Some of the guys, they actually tell me, I don't know, because in the area that I live, there's a lot of crime there. And sometimes you get in the wrong direction, you'll do the wrong thing. I said, but coming to work, it never crosses my mind.
I don't have a problem with people opening businesses. It still needs to be a free market system, because if you whack, you out of business, you're out of business. There needs to be competition amongst us as Black people, even if we did segregate. I have no problem with it. Competition makes us stronger. You can't just be some half-ass barber, you fucking people's heads up, and can't nobody open up across the street that cut hair better than you. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't mind the competition. And it's better for us as consumers.
Part of the larger trend that's seen the U.S. lose almost 70% of its textile manufacturing jobs in the past 20 years.
You have downsized on more than one occasion, but you never get used to it.
Staley Vincent is Director of Human Resources and a second-generation employee.
A lot of people have come through this plant, have fed their families, built homes, and provided an excellent source of income.
But see, I think I'm gonna tell you something. It'll just be a penalty. He gonna talk about it. And the money gonna go in a pot, and it'll actually come back to us. It's just some tight shit. This is actually a good plan that he thought of.
Factory supports the middle classes of this country.
Home for the brains behind Global Automotive Alliance, and this is their new headquarters. It was a FedEx building, and the company picked Detroit as headquarters with autonomous and electric vehicles in mind to be in a prime position to grow in that arena as they also integrate their own businesses. And in their 75,000 square foot facility is where they will integrate and improve efficiency for GAA's 5 logistic and manufacturing companies, as well as serve as a place for entrepreneurs to share ideas and grow.
What we find out is we know in this community, in our community, there are young people out there right now that have that same will, the same determination, and all they need is a chance.
Jill Ford is head of innovation and entrepreneurship for the city of Detroit.
It gives an opportunity for young people and people with great ideas to know that throughout our neighborhoods and throughout the city, there is an opportunity to start and grow your business.
And right now, GAA has over 1,600 employees across the country, over 200, I should say, here in Metro Detroit, and they hope to grow that number.
So this is what you're talking about when you say we need to go back and produce. We got people that actually are in our community that could do exactly what you just said. We already got the infrastructure. We really do. We're just not using it. You got people manufacturing cars and all that shit, Black folk. Yeah, you just said the same thing. In just 10 years, the Black community will transform itself from a community of just consumers to a community of producers. Now he's saying, and the money collected from that tariff system will stay in the Black community and be put into a sovereign wealth fund. All right, man, stay up. All right, champion. Now he's talking about the Negro tax. So he's saying right here, this is the idea to pool all of our resources together into that sovereign wealth fund owned by the descendants of American slave nation.
While most Europeans are facing cuts and austerity, every Norwegian has become a millionaire. The country's sovereign wealth fund recently hit a milestone value of around $800 billion, which means every citizen in Norway is worth about 1 million Norwegian kroner each. Well, on paper at least. Sadly, they can't get their hands on the cash because the money is being kept under the mattress by the Norwegian government, which has been saving up the windfall generated by North Sea oil since the late 1960s.
The FT has been taking a look at the investment strategy of Qatar Holding, a sovereign wealth fund that has been extremely aggressive with its global acquisitions since 2009.
This is a really important sovereign wealth fund. You've got to remember that since 2008, just after the financial crisis broke, that this is a fund that's been receiving $30 to $40 billion a year to invest. They're claiming returns of around 20%, just under 20%. That's pretty spectacular. Of course, the S&P, if we look at that, the returns somebody investing in the S&P since then, they would have got 15%. But by unanimous judgment, this is a very remarkable fund. And they've done some big investments, like in Barclays, in the Xstrata Glencore deal, biggest mining merger ever. And they've done very well.
And while the shopping focus today is on small business, there's one group of vendors that hopes you'll pay special attention. Eyewitness News reporter Naomi Peskovitz checked out the women and minority small business market and shows us how these companies are growing by working together.
Rows of minority and female business owners show signs of progress. Most of these small but mighty companies don't have a storefront at all.
And it's so hard for small businesses to get a foothold. So this is one way that we thought we'd help the community. Think of it as economic infrastructure redevelopment.
Co-founder Geraldine Lewis, her three sisters, and their mom started the market. They also own a skincare line for sale here. Now in its third year, more than 40 small businesses have set up shop, selling things like purses, jewelry, pottery, and for Marsha Quarles, dessert.
We make all kinds of things from specialty cakes and desserts, pies, cookies. We do catering. We do a lot of weddings.
For these small minority businesses, days like these are important for selling their product, but it's just as crucial for marketing and getting their names out there.
Small businesses need your support.
Shoppers like Lorraine Weatherly found out about the market on Facebook, but she's not just here to shop.
I'm networking with other people, seeing what brought them out here, what caused them to start their businesses, and what inspired them.
The hope that other women and minorities will feel confident jumping into the market on their own, especially this holiday shopping season.
It gives us an opportunity to get in on that holiday cash. And it gives us an opportunity to be known to the community. The more money we make, the more money we spend.
It is one of the largest job placement agencies in the country, based right here in Chicago. And tonight, it's accused of discriminating against Blacks and exploiting Hispanics. CBS 2's Dorothy Tucker explains what's behind the explosive allegations.
Before the sun rises, day laborers wait inside the offices of MVP Staffing back in September 2015, hoping to be called to work the temporary jobs at factories across Chicago and its suburbs. Kevin James was often among the crowd.
Or they'll call out names pretty much and tell you, Sonny, you on bus 1. Jose, you're on bus 2.
Was your name ever called?
No,
For the 20 times or so you went out there?
no. The majority of the people who's being called, were Hispanic.
James is a father of 2.
They made me infurious. It hurts right now as I talk about it. I'm just coming here to work like anyone else. So why am I not getting sent out?
The why can be found in a class action lawsuit that alleges MVP Staffing discriminates against Blacks, preferring to hire Hispanics. At MVP offices in Waukegan, Latino workers tell why.
It's easy for them to get used and, you know what I mean, for them to screw them over.
It also saves companies money, according to plaintiff's attorney Chris Williams. He says MVP used a coding system that distinguished Black applicants from Hispanic ones because many are illegal immigrants and less likely to complain.
The staffing agencies can cheat the workers out of overtime. They short their hours. It allows the companies to shortcut on safety considerations, which obviously saves money.
What would you like to see happen?
I would like to see more doors open. You know, I would like to see more people being able to work because it's hard out here.
MVP has 60 offices in 38 states, hiring an estimated 20,000 workers a day for its clients. Clients in Chicago include packing companies, a chocolate factory, a bakery. Some of them are also named in the lawsuit.
So this is what he said: economic segregation, the Negro tax, and tax exemptions. This is what his idea is. All of this is deficit neutral. This won't cost nothing to the federal government, to the government. But you got to crawl before you walk. If you want to be able to twist the government's arm and get them to do something, force you to do, give you some, you got to have some money and some resources.
Then you take the money and the wealth that you get from that first floor and go to the second floor. The second floor is politics. You then take that money on the first floor and you control your politics. Black folk must quit allowing people to tell them to go out and vote. Vote for what? Nobody's going to do anything for black folk in politics. Politics is controlled by money. Major corporations got the money. That's what controls politics. If you have no money, you have no say-so, you have no benefits coming. So you take your money and you control, and you take your money on the first floor, you buy every politician on the second floor. And then the politician you can't buy, you rent or lease them to get what you need. Then once you get the second floor under control with the politician, with your money, then you go to the third floor. The third floor then is the police department and the court system. You take your money from the first floor and your politics on the second floor, and you control the court system and the police departments. Then the fourth floor, that is media. You then take the money that you generate off the first floor from business and industries, and you go after radio stations, TV stations, newspapers, and cable systems, so that you can now inform and communicate with your own people. Right now, black folk only control less than 35 thousandths of 1% of the media in the United States. Out of 12,000 radio stations, black folk own about something like about 75, 80. That's all. You own no cable systems. You don't have a daily newspaper. You have nothing of importance. You got about one black TV station. And so you can't communicate with your people. You can't inform your people. You can't do anything. You can have Rush Limbaugh and all the rest of the guys talking about racism all day long, and bad mouthing, and O'Reilly. They can call black folk all kind of names all day long. What are you going to do? You can't respond. You can't communicate with your own people because you don't have an economic base. 51% of all the prisoners in the United States are black people. You only make up 12% of the population. That's no accident. It's because you don't control the economics and the politics. They're going to go after the weakest people they can get their hands on to incarcerate. That's the black folk. And what are you going to do in response to it when they over incarcerate you? You're going to go out and have a march, a demonstration. We're going to march. March, what? Who cares? Marching, they never changed anything.
So what he's saying, if we do that, we can achieve a tremendous improvement economically from wealth gap reduction to income gap reduction. So now he's finna talk about the white allies to get this pushed through. See, if you're really trying to push something through, you gotta understand how stuff works, man. This is why I'm angry when I hear the shit I heard tonight, because it was just disappointing, disheartening. Play both sides.
I propose a plan for reparations for slavery. Just as the German nation has paid $89 billion in reparations to Jewish organizations since World War II, and just as the United States has paid $20,000 in reparations to descendants of those who were in Japanese internment camps during World War II, I propose a $100 billion plan of reparations to be paid over 10 years. I submit that we should choose a council of esteemed African-American leaders who were given over a 10-year period, $10 billion a year, and this money should be dispersed as they deem most appropriate in order for economic and educational revitalization.
See, the funny thing about money, man, like if you just it doesn't take every black person getting a check. It doesn't for us to get reparations. I know that sounds right. It doesn't. You give the right people money, shit'll change overnight. It would. It would. I believe that. It does not take as much, man. It doesn't. You got to understand, Silicon Valley was started out of people's garages. It's really the right place, right time, right people. That's it. And I think, you give that right person the money, they'll come and give back. The people that got the heart for their people aren't the people that really people are listening to in the black community. It's the best orators like Jason Black and Tariq. And they've gotten rich, but they ain't giving back like that. They're not. They'll say they're giving back with a documentary that you pay for.
Be achieved within the black community.
I would definitely reach out to Ann Coulter. Listen to this.
You made kind of a provocative comment in your book here, Mug, and I think it's on page 151. You write that various groups, feminists, gay rights groups, and those who are defending immigrants have commandeered the Black civil rights experience.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that because I think it's one of the most important points of the book. I mean, I think the way liberals have treated Blacks like children and many of their policies have been harmful to Blacks. At least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, we shouldn't, there is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the Blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for Blacks.
See, this is essentially the problem, and the Republicans
What did, wait,
don't
can I just say,
understand.
what have we done to the immigrants? We owe black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country.
But she's spitting. She's spitting. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that I would reach out. You got some Democrats that'll probably be on that team too, man. If you really want to get this shit done, that's how you do it, man. Not this shit they talking on the internet about $20 trillion. Like every black person is gonna get $200,000. Come on, come on.
As we all know, Congress recently approved paying over $1 trillion to African Americans as reparations for slavery. Well, today, the first checks were sent out. Wendy Mullen is standing by live in Queens with more. Wendy?
Thanks, Chuck. We're standing here in front of the Olympic Liquor Store in Queens, where scores of African Americans have been lined up for hours.
Well, these checks aren't just affecting things on Beach Street. Wall Street is having a big day as well. Our financial correspondent, Michael Peterson, is there. Michael, what's happening?
Chuck, a lot of activity, as you can imagine, here on the market. These people are spending money like hotcakes. Cadillac announced that they sold 3 million Escalade trucks this afternoon alone. It's incredible, Chuck. These people just seem to be breaking their necks to give this money right back to us. These people just seem to be breaking their necks to give this money right back to us. These people just seem to be breaking their necks to give this money right back to us.
See, that's what I was just saying, man. If you're gonna help black folks, now look, there are certain guys you can give a couple $100,000 to and they'll be straight, you know. But the average black person isn't economically, you know, informed enough to even handle $200,000. They'll be fucked up. Half these folks be around here, they don't tell it, man. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a lot of rich Arabs, Asians, Hispanics. They'll take all our damn money. That ain't what I would say we need to do. It would help a few of us. But I think that's why the whole apparatus needs to be built around businesses and dollars circulating. And you'll fix it. You will fix this problem.
Folks, I am happy to report that the recession is now officially over, and we have nobody to thank but all these black people with their taste for expensive clothes, fancy cars, and of course, gaudy jewelry.
Yeah, but if we frame reparations as a conservative economic plan instead of just another welfare check, she may accept this idea. You talking about Ann Coulter. Especially knowing that immigrants will be heavily penalized by paying the Negro tax. If Republicans come on board to support reparations, it's going to be very hard for Democrats to oppose it. See there? That's all you got to do. I don't see that. But that's how you play chess if you're going to play it. You go and do some shit and work with the people that they call racist. You don't give a fuck about people's hearts. You come in and you operate for resources. That's how you do shit.
So often people will talk with me about being the first African American woman to own a $1 billion business. While I accept that applause with all the gratitude I can muster, the best thing that I could ever be applauded for is simply being another woman building a great business. I dream of a time when women can achieve and they are applauded because of their first innovative idea. Being the first African American woman to achieve anything in 2016 is not an accomplishment. It truly is a reason to look to how being the first is part of our history.
That's what I'm saying. We can get successful black engineers. And see, and that's what Bob Johnson's trying to spearhead right now with Robert Smith. I think they can probably get behind something like this. This would actually be good. You might want to tweak it a little bit here and there. I mean, but it's a damn good plan. Immigrants ain't gonna just be cool with paying the tariff. They just not. That's gonna be hell. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know your enemies. And if not that immigrants, every black immigrants are enemies. But what I'm saying is a 1 to 2% tax here and there. You depending on what city you in, you paying the shit anyway. So You can divert those funds into a certain pot. There's all types of ways you can do stuff.
Hey, this is Bo Shell. I'm the Little Ice Cream Dude. I'm the founder, owner, and CEO of Cool World, and this is the remix.
His name is Bo Shell. Yes, Bo Shell started his first entrepreneurship journey at 8 years old. 8 years old. 8.
I was 8 years old when I started my business, Little Ice Cream Dude. I wanted to start my own business because I wanted to make money so I could do the things I love, such as give to my school as missionary or help my family when they need help.
Listen, founder, CEO, and not only is he the CEO of Little Ice Cream Boy Cool World LLC, he's the author. Yeah.
My book, The Coolest Birthday Ever, it is a children's book that tells about how I got started. And so my plan for the book is to teach children the moral of how you can make your own money or become an entrepreneur.
He is doing his thing. What advice would you give other teen entrepreneurs? And one of the coolest things I've heard all year long, he said,
my mom one day when we were going home, she was thinking about saying I'm the next Bill Gates. And I told her I wanted to be the first Bo Shell. And I told her that because I don't want to be a next version of someone. I want to be my own person. I want to be looked up by people. And I want other teen entrepreneurs to be looked up by people. And I want them to be their own first person and their own story. And so they can be unique to themselves.
Black patriarch.
So that's that, man. They ain't gonna show that whole video, but that is the whole video. But that being said, man, looking down on someone coming and dropping $500 billion into the black community to start black businesses is probably a dumb move. I don't think that the thing that Trump has given is reparations. It's not called reparations, and you won't get shit called reparations given to black people. That's unrealistic, given the political climate in America, given where we are in our weakened position. But if you want to move into that direction, then you might want to start with small tangibles being given to black business owners. You get the shit in the right people's hands, you're gonna see some movement in the black community economically. It just takes the right people, that class of black business owners and entrepreneurs. That's what you need, man. And just complaining and bitching and moaning and coming with not real solutions other than we need $20 trillion or we ain't gonna do this. Man, shut the fuck up. That's just stupid. That's stupid. If you engage anything, basically you might as well just go ahead and just move your ass to Africa because it's never gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? That's just real, man. I'm all for shit, even if it's just covered admin costs for starting business and tax break. Yeah, something, little bitty shit. Do something. I say tax breaks for black business owners. That's a big one. That's a big one. Big. That's a major. Look at, man. Up to like 400,000. What's up, Morning Blue? Up to like $500,000 or some shit. Any black business making under $500,000 is tax exempt or something. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I would love that shit. No feds? Man, y'all. Anyway, y'all have a good one, man. I see y'all.